I'm Curt Frye. In this movie, I want to continue creating a schedule building workbook in Microsoft Excel. What I've done so far is generate a list of the schedule weeks that we will need for a 12-team league where each team plays all of the others home and away, so a total of 22 matches. That means that there are some weeks where a team doesn't appear, and also some weeks where a team is scheduled to play itself. If a team doesn't appear, it doesn't play, and also if a team appears twice, it doesn't play. And all of those pairs happen here in match weeks 13 through 24. Over on the right, I have what will be the final generated schedule. So we will create a mix, or rather a list of match days, and again, we're looking those up based in our source table here. And there will be some constraints. For example, we don't want teams to play each other within, say, 5 or 6 weeks, and we will also enforce that every team plays an equal number of home and away matches, and that is what we are going to start with in this movie. We will be referring to this range here, and this is from R3 down to, I believe, AC 26. It is. So this is what we'll be referring to in our formula, because this is what we'll be changing to generate the schedules. And our goal is to identify all of the home matches and all of the away matches. Looking at this schedule, these two teams play each other in match week 1, so team 1 versus team 2. I'm using the UK version, or the UK standard, of listing the home team first and the away team second. That's opposite of what we do in the US, but because I'm primarily creating this for a British audience, I thought that it would be better to go that way. And of course it doesn't matter, because the schedule is balanced and home and away doesn't really matter, but I wanted you to know which order I was using before I started. Okay, with that in mind, let's go down and take a look at the grid that I have created to look up whether a particular match is a home match or an away match. So I am checking by team. So we have our 12 teams, 1 through 12, and then we have match days, 1 through 24 above. And there are two things that I need to check for. The first is if a club plays itself, it has a week off and shouldn't be counted as a home match or an away match. And also if the club's number appears in any of this week's home team slots. So either appearing twice, in which case it doesn't get a home match or an away match, or whether it appears in an odd numbered position or an even numbered position. Actually, if I go back up. So again, the odd numbered positions within the grid are home and even are away. So 1 is home, 2 is away, 3 is home, and so on. So I'll scroll down. So I will start by determining whether a club appears exactly once. And for that, I can use a COUNTIF statement. So in cell C30, I'll type equal, and then COUNTIF, and the range will be from R3 to AC3. But I need to put in a mix of absolute and relative references so the formula will copy properly. So I'll start by doing that. I'll type a $R, and again, we're looking at the range starting at R3. So when I copy the formula, the column won't change, but the row will. So I have R3, colon, $ again, AC is the column, then 3, then a comma. And I want to look for the value in C29. So here, that would be team number 1. So that's why I used a number there. So I have C29, and I want the column to change, but not the row. So in other words, I always want to look at the values in row 29 for this formula. So that would be C, then a $ at 29. So I will do that COUNTIF, enter, and team 1 appears exactly once in row 1. And if I look up at the schedule, I see that in the first row, which goes from R3 to AC3, that Team 1 appears exactly once. Now, I will copy the formula over, and we'll be able to see what happens when I get to week number, let me see, that is week number 18, where 1 appears twice. So I'll go back down. And there we go. So then Team 1. So Team 1 appears exactly once in every week except match day, match week 18, and match week 24. In 18, it appears twice. In 24, it appears no times, so 0. So I can use this as my first criteria to determine whether the team has a home match or whether I need to ignore it. So I will delete the formulas from match day 2 down to match day 24. And then I will continue editing the formula that I have in C30. So I'm going to change this to an if statement. So between the $sign and the C of COUNTIF, I'll type if. And then if this criteria is true, so if the COUNTIF value is not equal to 1, so that's less than or greater than 1, a comma, then we assign a 0. The reason is that I am only interested in whether a team appears exactly once. So that's the only case where I would have a value other than 0. So I've got that. So what do we do if we have exactly one occurrence? So then I have a comma, and here we will do a lookup to determine whether the row that the team number appears in, or excuse me, whether the column that the team number appears in is odd. So we will have column 1, which would be a home team, and column 2, or an even-numbered column, which would be an away team. And this is a little bit tricky, so I will type it in and explain a bit as I go along. And this can actually be very useful to go through a formula and step through it with each step to see exactly what's happening. So I'm checking to see if the mod, and that is the remainder after division, is 1 or 0, and that can tell me even or odd if I divide by 2. So I have mod, and then I'm going to look up a value using xmatch, which is a much more powerful function than standard match. So I have xmatch, and the range that I'm going to be looking at, or rather the value I'm going to be looking up, is C29, and I'm going to type it in exactly as I did before in this formula. So C, $29, and that way when I copy, the column will change, but the row will not. So it'll always be 1 through 12 that you can see here. C29, then a comma. The lookup array is going to be R3 through AC3. That's the changing schedule grid we have over on the right. And that will be absolute and unchanging. So I have R3. I pressed F4 to get a pair of $signs. Then a colon and AC, let's see, AC3. So we're looking at an entire row. Press F4 to make it absolute again. Then a right parentheses, so that closes out the X match where we're looking. Then a comma, the divisor is 2, and again we're checking odd or even. Right parentheses, and then we're checking to see if this value equals 1 or not. So if the mod, that is the remainder of the division of the values we've identified, is 1 or not. So if it is equal to 1, we are in an odd numbered column within our range, and that means that it is a home match. If not, it's an away match, and we type a 0. So there's the 0. One right parentheses to close out this if, another right parentheses to close out the larger if. We have nested ifs in this case. Then an enter, and I see that Team 1 is in fact playing at home in week 1. And if I scroll back up, I see that, yep, 1 is playing a home match in week 1. It's also playing a home match in week 2. So let me see. So in week 12, it is playing away. Team 1 is playing away. So I will go down to cell C30 and copy down. It's way too many. I see what happened. I messed up. So Control Z. And what happened was that I made these references unchanging. So I actually want the row to change when I copy them down. So within Xmatch, the range will be looking at a specific row. So that means that R3 and AC3 should have a $ next to the R and the AC, so those columns don't change, but they should, in fact, change the row. So I'll press there, get the same result, and hopefully now I will have a result that makes sense. So yes, I have 6 home matches in a row, and then 5 home matches within these different match days. So that's good, and I'm glad that I was able to figure out what I had done. If you have a formula that gives you an unexpected result like that, and you're mixing absolute and relative references, that's usually a good place to look. So now I can copy cells C30 through C53, grab the fill handle at the bottom right, and copy over, and I'll scroll back up. I'm good there, I guess. And I can see that I have a pretty good mix of home and away matches. So what I will do is ensure that each of my rows has either 5 or 6 home matches, because remember, a team can be listed as playing itself, but we're not counting that. So in O30 through O53, I will press Alt equal, and I get a list of 6s and 5s. And if I do a similar thing for C54 through, let me see, through N54, then in this case, because I have match numbers up here, or rather club numbers, I can't just do a sum or an auto sum. So I'll type equal sum, and then I will select, because I'm in C54, C30 through C53, right parentheses, and then Control Enter to enter the formula into all of those cells, and I get 11. So that tells me that each club will play a total of 11 home matches. And I will delete these formulas for now, but we will actually use them later to create our objective function. So just a little bit of a precursor there. So now I have my away matches down at the bottom, and this is actually the opposite of what we did here, except instead of checking for a remainder of 1, a mod of 1, we'll be looking for a mod of 0, and that will give us an even number. So with cell C30 selected, I will select the text on the formula bar, press Control C, then Escape, and go down to cell C58, press Control V to paste. And I'll make a couple of edits. The first thing I will do is look at cell C57 for the team number with both of my lookups. Because I have my 2 arrays in the same sets of columns, it actually would work to look up at C29 like we did before, but because I'm putting the formula in a new place, I will change what I'm looking for. And the other thing that we need to do is, because we're looking for away matches, those team numbers occur in the even numbered columns. So rather than checking for a mod of 1 after we divide by 2, we change it so we are looking for a mod of 0. Then I type Enter, and I get my 0 for Team 1 on match day 1, and I can go up and check that, in fact, that is the opposite. So I should see, when I copy this formula down, a list of 6 zeros for Team 1 for the first 6 match days, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. away matches. So let's go back down here, and I will click cell C58, grab the fill handle to copy down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that appears to be the opposite of what we had above. And then I will drag over. And just on visual inspection, the grid appears to be correct. So above, I have a list of all of my home match days for each club, and below I have a list of all away match days for each of the clubs again. So I'm very glad that this appears to have worked. I'll just do a little bit of quick formatting. So I'll make all of the values in the away match array centered. So I just selected them and centered them on the home tab of the ribbon. And then I will add outside borders. And I will do the same thing for the match days, and that is from C30 down to N53. So I will center those within the cells so they're easier to read. Add borders. And we have successfully taken our next step. We have identified home and away matches, and in the next movie, we will be able to count them up, which we will then use as a criteria to hopefully create a schedule where no team has more than 3, or in some cases 4, home or away matches in a row. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel.